from Australia by way of Singapore. He's on The Daily Show. Show love for Ronny Chieng. Ronny Chieng!
Yeah, it's the best. This is the best, right? New York City. I love everything about it. I've been here 2 years now. Love the energy, love the smells, everything. Everything. I took 2 subway trains to get to the show here tonight. Both times someone shat on the train. What are the odds? Quite high, actually. If you think about it for more than a second, the odds of someone shooting on a train in New York City almost 100%. Love it about it. Love the smoke coming through the grates in New York City. No one knows what that is. Nobody knows what that is. You don't care, just walk through it. It gives you superpowers, right? Just inhale it, gives you superpowers. You don't know what powers it gives you. It could give you anything. It could give you diarrhea. You don't know. You don't know. You still do it anyway, right? Because it's New York City. Even the diarrhea is better. 2 fecal jokes. How many shitty jokes does he have?
I always feel like stand-up comedy is like alchemy because you're trying to make gold out of nothing. It's just you and the microphone and the audience. You know, you're trying to make them laugh. You're trying to make a room full of people who are expecting to laugh. There's definitely harder jobs, but I mean, I think it's one of the hardest things you could try to do. I'm Ronny Chieng. I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a correspondent on a daily show. I guess I'm also an actor and writer. It sounds really wanky to call myself a writer, but I guess I am. I wrote some stuff. I recently featured in the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and I wrote and starred in my own sitcom, Ronny Chieng International Student, that aired in Australia, the UK, Canada, America, and I'm told it aired in Asia, but until now I still haven't been able to confirm that. Why do I love what I do? I mean, it's a lot of fun and you're not hurting people. In fact, you're trying to brighten up their day. That's really the goal of comedy, is just trying to brighten up people's day. I mean, that's a worthy pursuit, right? There's something fun about coming up with a new joke that no one has ever thought of before. There's a lot of joy in making people laugh. I mean, that's really why I love doing it. I come from live comedy. That's where I started. I kind of always go back to it as my base, and my source of a lot of inspiration and creativity comes from live performing. I by no means put it on a pedestal. I don't think it's the ultimate form of self-expression, but it is my chosen profession, so I just talk about it a lot. For me, stand-up comedy is very much your own point of view on things, and there's really not a lot of limits on what you can talk about if you're willing to go there. So you have a lot of control in what you output, and you can choose to output things of a certain aesthetic or topic, or a certain style of comedy. You have a lot of choice in that. You have a lot of decision making, a lot of autonomy in that. I very, very, very rarely, if ever, say something that I don't personally believe in. So I've been pretty lucky to not have to compromise on that. With television, usually you're working with someone else. You're playing off another person, so it's not a solo sport as much. And also the pace of TV is a little bit different. You can use special effects, like bringing up windows next to you, or you're throwing to a video. Whereas in stand-up comedy, you can't really do that. So the energies are very different. And which one do I like more? I like them both. They both kind of give you different looks at things. I come from a very different city. I used to live in Singapore. I grew up in Singapore. Very different city, very orderly and neat. If you just say Singapore to Americans, the only thing they come back with is like, they cane you there, right? In Singapore, they f***ing cane you. Like, as soon as you get out of the plane, they f***ing cane your face. They cane, if you spit gum on the floor, they cane you in Singapore. And I'm like, yeah. They do, so don't f***ing spit gum on the floor and you won't have a problem. That's some kind of an innate need of yours, to spit gum on the fucking floor like a bunch of animals? What's weird is that if you tell any New Yorker what they would do, you ask them what they would do if someone came into their home and just spit gum on the floor, they'd be like, we beat the out of them. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. We just outsource that to the government. I was born in Malaysia. I don't really differentiate between Singapore and Malaysia because I was staying in Johor Bahru, the southernmost tip of Malaysia, which is just like a bridge away from Singapore. In fact, when I was a kid, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and then go to school in Singapore, and then at night go back to Malaysia. So I was like crossing countries every day just to go to school. And then I went to Australia for law school at the University of Melbourne, and I started comedy my final year of law school. And I thought it was something I could do, and I just wanted to confirm that suspicion. So I went to give it a try. and it went pretty well. And it went better than my job search. I couldn't get a job at that time, so I just kept doing comedy, and it just kept going, yeah. I'm pretty sure my parents still don't know I'm doing comedy. I think they think I'm just practicing law in Australia right now. Yeah, I don't know. I just kept doing it. I didn't tell them I was doing it mainly because I didn't want to deal with the backlash, and I didn't want to have to explain it because it's very hard to explain. We talk about this a lot in the Asian community, and it's weird to even have to talk about it sometimes. But I honestly feel like at its core, Asian parents want their children to have a better life than they did. That's where all this comes from, all this like anxiety and pressure and all that. At its core, I believe it's because they want their children to have a better life than they did. And implicit in that is that they want their children to be happier than they were, even if that's not an explicit thought. So I always feel like if you're in this Asian parent scenario, initially or at its surface, you might feel like your parents aren't supporting it or they're not happy. But in the long term, if it's making you happy and you're finding success in it, they will see how much happiness it brings you. And I think they will come around eventually because, like I said, at its core, they just want you to have a better life than they did. And sometimes they don't know how to express that. And so when they express it in terms of, you should do the things I couldn't do. I couldn't be a doctor, you should go be a doctor. I couldn't be a lawyer, you should be a lawyer. I wasn't able to work for myself. I had to go work for someone else for my whole life. So I want you to be able to be a professional lawyer or doctor or, God forbid, engineer. Oh no, if you become an engineer, it's the worst of all the professions. That's how they express it, but they do want you to be happier than they were, And I think they see it as it plays out. I mean, my philosophy was I went out there and I just hit the mat. Like I was just trying to make people laugh. That first couple of years, I was just trying to make people laugh. And you learn so much by doing, You have to go do it. There's no substitute for experience. After you hit the mat for a while, then you can kind of examine the whole thing, where you sit in the political spectrum of creators and, what your voice or what you like to move into. But you need a couple of reps before you can know that. So to know that before you even have a rep is extremely difficult. Not impossible, but extremely difficult. So I would say whatever you're looking to do, like really go hit the max, If you love writing, just keep writing and figure out what your writing style is and what possible platforms there are for you. If you like comedy, you go hit the open mics. There's no substitute for experience. So end of the day, you have to do it. Everything else, we can theorize about it all day, but you have to go make some stuff, right? I really believe the best way to go about it is to just do it, make mistakes, meet people who are doing the same thing, learn from other people, figure out your style. It takes time to figure it out.